I'm rebuilding the Minnesota Gophers and college football 25 because JJ Bill 8709 commented on a previous video, Gophers please day 4. I'll put a link to their YouTube video in the description of this video. Everyone go subscribe to their channel right now. If you want to see your name and get a shout out in an upcoming video, go ahead and comment down below what other teams you want to see me rebuild right now. I will choose one of the comments and make a video. The Minnesota Golden Gophers are 83 overall. They are in the Big Ten Conference. Let's look at the depth chart real quick. We got a quarterback, Max Brosmer. He's a redshirt senior. He's only a 77 overall, but he's the highest rated quarterback we have on the team. 79 speed, 87 throw power. It's going to be his show for this first season. At running back, we actually have a really good running back, Darius Taylor. He's only a sophomore. He is 88 overall, probably one of the highest overall rated players on the team. Only has 89 speed. He's an elusive back, but he's 210 pounds. And then all of our backup running backs are basically the same, 76, 75, 74 with 86 speed. So they're slower guys. And look at Jaron Mangum. He's a redshirt senior, but he's 6'2", 241 pound power back. Fullback, we got a 60 overall. At wide receiver, the best wide receiver on the team is Daniel Jackson, redshirt senior. Gonna be his last year, 86 overall with 91 speed. And then our next best receiver is a redshirt freshman, Tyler Williams. He's going to be the future of the wide receiver core. He's a redshirt freshman. He is 6'3", 205 pounds. He's a physical guy, 89 speed. And then the rest of the wide receivers we have are juniors and seniors. We do have some guys that were redshirting down here. At tight end, 77 overall, Nick Callerup, a redshirt senior. Left tackle, I think this is actually the highest rated player on the team. I'm not sure how you say his name, but his last name is Ursary. 93 overall, redshirt senior, so it's gonna be his last year. Probably gonna get drafted, most likely in the first round, being that highly rated. We do have some depth coming behind him though. Left guard, 81 overall. At center, 72 overall. Right guard, 81 overall. And right tackle, 77 overall. But 3 of those guys are seniors and they're gonna be graduating. So we're gonna have a lot of turnover on the offensive line. Defensive end, God Joyner, 85 overall, redshirt senior. Other defensive end, another redshirt senior, 81 overall, Danny Strigau. Defensive tackle, 78 overall junior, and a 75 overall redshirt senior. So we're gonna have all new defensive line besides one defensive tackle next year. Another redshirt senior, 83 overall, Cody Lindenberg, outside linebacker. Middle linebacker, Maverick Baranowski, that's how you say it, I think. He's a sophomore. Outside linebacker, Devin Williams, 74 overall. So the linebacker core is not exactly amazing. The best guy we have has 80 speed. At cornerback, we have a senior, Justin Wally, 86 overall. He's one of the highest rated players on the team. And then there's a pretty big drop off. We do have Zaquan Bryan. He's a redshirt freshman. So he has a bright future. 74 overall is going to be in the slot for us. Free safety, I decided to start the redshirt freshman Kerry Brown, who's a 74, over the sophomore Coleman Bryson, because they basically have the same overall, 74 and 75. But I like the fact that Kerry Brown has 90 speed. Bryson only has 86 speed because he's a run support guy. Should be playing strong safety, 210 pounds. And at strong safety, we have Darius Green, a junior, 78 overall with 94 speed. Both our kicker and our punter are redshirt seniors, so we're gonna have to get new kickers and punters. I'm currently on week 1 of the season and I've done a whole week of recruiting. I'm going after a couple of quarterbacks because it's a priority. Our quarterback's gonna be graduating after this season. I have 2 guys I'm looking at pretty good right here. We got Jamil Maribel, he's a 5-star, got him 100% scouted. The dude has, what does he have? 90 speed with 93 throw power, and his accuracies are actually looking pretty good for a freshman. We are currently 5th on his board, got 50 points going after him, which is the max that I can do on anybody at this point. We do have 600 hours though. And then another quarterback I'm going after is Ian Abara. I got 50 points on him, or hours is what it is, but we didn't really gain too much. I'm not gonna panic right now. I'm gonna keep going after him because he has 93 speed and 93 throw power, so he might actually be better than Maribel. Now everyone else, we are pretty competitive on them. We gained a lot on this right tackle, Zaire Lehan. He's a 5-star. Michigan's ahead of us, but we're catching up to him. We got another left tackle, 5-star Alex Rivera. I dropped 50 hours on him, and we're gaining a lot. I think we're gonna need like 9 or 10 offensive linemen in our needs, which is crazy. So definitely need to target a lot of linemen, which I've gone after 4 of them. And this guy is actually a 4-star gem. I dropped 50 hours on him, but we're not gaining very much. I'm gonna let it ride for 1 more week and see how it goes. We got a left tackle. It's a 4-star, 100% scouted. We actually gained a lot on them, but Alabama and Ohio State going after him at the same time. We might lose out on him. And then we have a gem, 4-star defensive tackle, Keon Tyree. 4-star middle linebacker, Dwayne Biggers. We actually jumped over University of Kentucky, so we're first on him. And Glenn Droge, how do you say that name? Droege? Never seen that in my entire life. He's a 4-star gem, outside linebacker. We gained a ton in the first week. And then we have Trendon Magulagan. What the hell are these names? He is a 5-star. I got him 100% scouted. I think that he has like pretty good speed. I think it was 96. Yeah, he has 96 speed, 84 zone coverage. Man coverage is only 95. And the last guy we're going after is a 4-star gem cornerback, Ched Bequet. Another crazy name. We're actually first on his board. He has 96 speed. His man coverage is 79. His zone coverage is only 69. So it's kind of the opposite of the other guy. First game of the season is against North Carolina Tar Heels. They are 84 overall, so they're similar to us. We are 83 overall, but it looks like their offense is 2 better than us and their defense is 1 better than us. I'm not gonna play this game. I just wanted to show the comparison of the teams. Not off to a great start. We lost to North Carolina 34-28. It was actually a kind of a close game. Our quarterback Max Brosmer did not do good. He only had a 99 rating, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. 47% completion is not good at all. I am running the default Minnesota Golden Gophers playbook. Darius Taylor had a hell of a game though. 17 carries, 120 yards, 1 touchdown, averaged 7.1 per carry, and he had 2 runs over 20. Longest was 34 yards. That's good. He's only a sophomore too, so we're gonna get at least 1 more year from him. If he jumps up into the 90s, he'll probably end up wanting to leave to go to the draft as a junior after next season. Tyler Williams at wide receiver, the redshirt freshman. I got him starting in the slot, so he's gonna get most of the targets. 8 catches, 116 yards, 1 touchdown, no drops. I like that. Spencer had 5 for 82, and our best, highest rated wide receiver, Daniel Jackson, only had 2 catches for 11 yards, but he did have a touchdown. Defensively, Henderson and Lindenberg both had the most tackles. Joyner had a sack. We didn't have no interceptions. For recruiting, we're still looking pretty good. We're gaining pretty good on Jamil Maribel, the quarterback. We got locked out of like 5 guys because of brand exposure. Our grade is only a C+, and a lot of guys want at least a B-. So apparently Minnesota Golden Gophers are not good for brand exposure. We did jump into first on a few guys. We're second on this guy. We're still gaining pretty good on this right guard, who is a 4-star gem. First here, third here, first here. So, and we took a big lead on Glenn Droege. How the hell do you say that name? And Magulagan. We're in third. We actually got a good gain. I'm liking it. And then we had 40 hours left, so I just went ahead and put him on this athlete, who it says that he's an agile offensive lineman, 6'3", 291 pounds. I got him 100% scouted. Nick Keller, I just put 40 points on him because I had it left. And then you see we got locked out of a lot of guys because of brand exposure. As expected, we got our first win of the season against the FCS East. We beat them 38-0 in a blowout. Definitely expect to see that. Brosmer had a decent game, 162 rating, 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. 61% completion is definitely better than 47%, but against that team, he probably should have had about 70% at least. Darius Taylor having another crazy game. 20 carries, 127 yards, 2 touchdowns, 6.3 per carry. Love that. Daniel Jackson actually had a good game. The highest rated receiver, 5 for 107 with the tutty. And then Tyler Williams, the freshman, 5 for 62. Tight end Callerup had a touchdown catch. Defensively, Joyner had the most tackles with 5. We actually had a decent 3 sacks. Eastern had 1.5, Smith had 1, and then Lindenberg half. Lindenberg also had an interception. Pretty good game from Lindenberg. We suffered the second loss of the season against Nevada, 24-7. We are 1-2, definitely not off to a good start. Rosmer had another bad game, man. 95 rating, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, got sacked 3 times, only 50% completion. 42 attempts, only 21 completed. Darius Taylor finally had the first bad game of the rebuild or of the video, 10 for 27. Tyler Williams had 5 for 58. Jackson had a touchdown. Defensively, we got a ton of tackles because we were losing. Anthony Smith had a sack. Lindenberg and Strigao both had half of one and no interceptions. Even with starting off the season with 2 losses, we are still in first place on pretty much everybody, or at least competitive with them. Third place on Gilliam. First here, second here, Tyree. I'm not liking the fact that Miami's in the lead and they already scheduled a visit. Not good. Everyone else are looking pretty good on Magulahan. How do you say that name? I like it. I want to get that guy just because of his name. We got our first commit of the rebuild. 4-star cornerback Chad Bequette from Lombard, Illinois. We did manage to beat Iowa 37-10. Kind of a blowout, really. Rosmer had his best game so far, 171 rating, 211 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 80% completion. Say best game because of the rating. 80% completion is probably the best he's done for sure. Darius Taylor, man, had him a game. 127 yards on 19 carries, 6.7 per carry with 2 touchdowns. Back at running back had 9 for 50 and a tutty. Receiving, tight end had 4 for 77. Spencer had 5 for 77. Daniel Jackson had the only touchdown. Bryson had the most tackles with 7 sacks. Joyner had 1.5, and Brian had half of 1. Update on recruiting: we are first on everyone we're going after except for 2 guys. We are really close on Zaire Lehan. We do have a scheduled visit for him. Michigan jumped ahead of us. And then Gilliam, we are second on his list to Alabama. We do have a scheduled visit with him also. We did lose out on Keon Tyree to the freaking Alabama. Go ahead and take them off. We have a huge game coming up against number 9 Michigan. They're 3-1 on the season. Let's see if we can get an upset. We lost to Michigan in a close defensive game. It was a low score, 17-10. Barely any points. Rosmer had a very bad game. Look at this: 83 rating, 100 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Got sacked 5 times. 43% completion. He only completed 13 attempts out of 30. That is crazy. Darius Taylor, not bad, 14 for 68. Probably need to start feeding him the ball like non-stop. Barely anything happening with the receivers whenever there's nobody, like no passes, so that's expected. Lindenberg had 9 tackles. Henderson had 8 sacks. Joyner with 2.5. Smith had 2. We got a ton of sacks. Regal had 1, Eastern had 1, and then Lindenberg half a sack. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks, and we lost the game. Henderson and Bryson both had interceptions. We're going into week 6, and we actually have a lot of recruits coming to visit this week against the USC Trojans. We need to win this game so we can try to get a lot of these guys locked up. We got Jamil Maribel's coming in for a visit. Lehan's coming in. Rivera, Gilliam. Not this guy. Who else? I think that's it. Yeah, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. 4 crucial recruits coming in. We did win the game 35-10, bringing us to 3-3 on the season. We did not get any commits though, but at least we got the win. Rosmer, 145 rating, 200 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked 4 times, 60% completion. Taylor with a decent game, 18 for 87, no tutties though. Receiving, the redshirt freshman Tyler Williams, 9 for 97 with 2 touchdowns, and Daniel Jackson 5 for 63 with a touchdown. Defensively, Brian had the most tackles. Smith had 1.5 sacks, and Strigao had half of 1. And Darius Green, the safety, had 1 interception. It looks like the visit went really good for Jamil Maribel, the 5-star quarterback. We got 75% increase on the blowout win against USC, 35-10. And he went on a trophy tour because we have a A+ conference prestige, which he's like really interested with. So we are in first place on him by a good amount at this point. We just got into the top 3, so I'm happy where we're at right now. Hopefully we can get this guy because he could be the quarterback of the future for sure. And it looks like we're gonna get those big gains on everyone that visited since we got that blowout win. Top 3 on Lehan. We just passed Michigan, but he is going to visit Michigan this week though. Hopefully that goes terrible. They get caught stealing signs or something. I don't know. And Rivera, we're looking good. Got a huge gain on him. We're in the top 3. So we have a really good chance to get 3 5-stars in the first season. We do, however, lose out on Rob Gilliam to Georgia, even though the visit went great. See you later, Gilliam. Still in first place on everyone else except for, what the hell happened to Magulagan? Oregon comes out of nowhere. We do have a visit scheduled with them for week 8. We're not in the top 3 yet, so we still have time. Our visit is before Oregon and everyone else, so we still have a chance with him. We got our second recruit of the rebuild, middle linebacker Dwayne Biggers from Warner Robins, Georgia. He's a 4-star. We got another win here, back-to-back wins against teams in California. This was a close one though, 31-30, 1-point victory, but we'll take it for sure. Frosmore, this is definitely the best game he's had. 216 rating, 371 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception. 53% completion is not great, but I'll definitely take these. He only had 14 completions for 370 yards. That's crazy. Taylor, 16 for 72, 1.5 yards per carry with no touchdowns. Redshirt freshman Tyler Williams went insane. 4 catches, 174 yards, 3 touchdowns. And then Elijah Spencer, 1 catch, 75 yards and a touchdown. Awesome. Defensively, Green had 9 tackles. Brian had 7, not 1. We had 3 sacks. Henderson had 1. Joyner and Strigal had 1. No interceptions. We're getting so close on Jamil Maribel at quarterback. We're literally right there. Carolina's trying to sneak up on there, but I think we got it in the bag. Hopefully, knock on wood. And then Lehan, we're still in first, barely. Michigan is actually almost tied with us because he just had a visit with them, and apparently it went well. We're right on the edge. Rivera's looking good. We're in the top 3. We just had a visit with him last week. Andre Iegbunue. I'm not sure how to say that, man. These names are so crazy. We were almost in the top 3. We got a visit with him coming up in week 9 before Alabama and Ohio State, but they are gaining quickly on us. We're in first place on Glenn Droge. We got a visit with him in week 9 also. I am going after a kicker and a punter. I found a kicker that has a gym. This punter it says he's a bust, but he still has like I think like 90 something kick power. So I was like, already invested time into him. I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. We are in first place on this scrambling quarterback athlete. I like to go after athletes, especially ones that have good speed, because they could potentially play other positions. His speed's only 88, which is like the minimum that I would allow to play like corner or safety, maybe even linebacker, because he's 219 pounds. And then I found this 4-star running back that was still not really getting heavily recruited. So I went ahead and scouted him, dropped 50 points or 50 hours on him. He's an elusive back from Green Bay, Wisconsin. He has 92 speed, 80 break tackle. I dropped 50 on him and we gained a lot on him. So I think there's a good chance that we could potentially get him. We don't really have a need for running back, but if you get a chance to get a 5-star, why the hell not? And then a couple other guys I'm going after. I just found this 4-star. He was the last 4-star that had 0 scholarship offers. He's a possession athlete, so they're projecting him to be tight end, but he could potentially play other positions too, like defense, outside linebacker, or something like that. And then another 4-star. Oh, actually, this was another one that didn't. I think he had 1 scholarship offer, but they're not even in the top 8, so he didn't care about it. And then I found this 3-star agile offensive lineman, 100% scouted. He's a gem. So I spent the last 5 hours, well, 10 hours on him. I had to give him a scholarship and then put 5 points towards him. And I'm so excited. We just had a bye week. I simulated it, and the thing that pops up first, 5-star quarterback Jamil Maribel from Malden, South Carolina, coming to the Minnesota Golden Gophers, the future of the franchise, baby. Oh, look at that, another 5-star left tackle. Alex Rivera is going to be blocking his blind side. Looks like we did end up losing out on the 5-star right tackle, Lehan. He went to Michigan. And then I think I forgot to mention it, but right before we simulated this, we got locked out of Magulahan. He made it to the top 3, but we didn't make it. We were 4th, so he actually ends up going to Oregon. We just got blown out by number 23 Maryland, 37-7. Not looking good at all. Rosmer had a terrible game, 90 rating, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 41% completion. Taylor, 11 carries for 42 yards. Receiving, Tyler Williams 6 for 97, and Spencer had 5 for 78 with the only touchdown that we scored in the entire game. And we had 2 guys on defense with double-digit sacks. Not good. Means that the defense was on the field a lot. Baranowski had 1 sack and Joyner had 1. No interceptions. One thing I did forget to mention is I was using the existing head coach on the team, so I have not got any type of points yet to try to upgrade the scouting. But it was a 2-year contract that they made us sign, which is weird because it's usually like a 5-year contract. That was the first time I've seen that. But we only needed to get 4 wins, and we did meet that criteria. But it says that we are on the hot seat for job security, 55%, and I did not turn off coach firing. So if we get fired, then that's going to be it for the video. We did lose out on the 4-star left tackle Andre to Alabama. We are in second now on Glenn Droge. Wisconsin made a big leap. Hopefully we can try to get it back. I have a hard sell going on him. Anyone that I can hard sell on, I've already moved it to that. But we actually jumped in the first place on this 5-star running back that we got in on late because nobody else was even going after him. It's insane. We have a deal breaker on this athlete, offensive lineman, for playing style. We have a C+, and he needs a B-. But we already have a visit scheduled with him, so how the hell does that work? Is he still gonna come in for the visit on week 12? Guess we're gonna find out. I'm gonna keep him on there and see what happens. And then I'm going after a bunch of new guys now, but we got 200 hours, so I'm gonna go through here and get more people. This 4-star athlete, I had him on here at the beginning of the season, and then he locked us out because of deal breaker. The brand exposure is a B-, and ours had went down to like a C- or something. And then I put him back on there because we got it back up. And then last week we had a deal breaker again, came off, and then now he's back. So I don't know what the hell's going on, but we're still in first place on him, so I'm gonna keep going after him. We got our 5th loss of the season against Illinois, 33-27. It's definitely closer than 37-7, that's for sure. Rosmer, 124 rating, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked twice, 55% completion. Darius Taylor, 17 carries for 63 yards with 3 touchdowns. Nice. Tyler Williams, redshirt freshman, 6 catches, 134 yards, 1 touchdown. Defensively, Wally had 9 sacks. Lindenberg had 7. I mean, not sacks, tackles. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. We had 0 sacks and 0 interceptions. We ended up getting locked out on this 5-star running back because our championship contender grade dropped below a B-. We need to get another win to get that back up. And we also got locked out on Nick Keller for playing style. He wants a B-, and we have a C+. And on Nate Lovett, once again, brand exposure, we will drop from a B- to a C+, I guess, because we lost the game, but we're still in first by a mile. And on Keller, we still have a scheduled visit on week 12. We're on week 11 right now, so after this game, then he's going to be coming in. I want to see how that works if he's locked out, but he still comes in for the visit. 4-star quarterback Pat Quincy from Fort Worth, Texas has committed to the team. I don't think he's necessarily a quarterback. I think he's an athlete. We picked up our 5th win of the season, beating Rutgers by 1 point, 25-24. Currently 5-5 on the season. Hopefully that helps us with our recruiting, the guys that didn't like the fact that we lost. Grosmer had an okay game, 146 ratings, okay, 300 yards, good, 3 touchdowns, good, 1 interception, 48% completion. For some reason, this dude just cannot complete passes. Darius Taylor, not great, 14 carries, 52 yards. Receiving, Daniel Jackson, 4 for 99 with a touchdown. Elijah Spencer, 4 for 92 with a touchdown. And the redshirt freshman Tyler Williams, 5 for 76 with a touchdown. Seen a lot of drops over here though. Jackson had 2 drops, Williams had 2. Tight end had 2 drops, only caught 1 pass. That's not good. Definitely not helping the quarterback. Cornerback Justin Wally had 12 tackles. Damn. A lot for a cornerback to have. Danny Strigal had 2 sacks. And Ethan Robinson at corner, 1 interception. Getting that win did help us get back in with the 5-star running back PJ Westerman. Our championship contender grade is literally the minimum that we need, a B-. But the other guys, the playing style and the brand exposure did not change, so they still have us locked out. We finally earned some coach skill points, and it looks like this coach has pretty much a little bit of a lot of different things. See what's going on with the recruiting. Mostly offensive. Gonna increase our weekly hours for quarterbacks. We don't really need that because we basically have our quarterback of the future. Could use it on offensive line though, because I'm going after like 9 offensive linemen. So I'm gonna use that on that for sure. It looks like we did have to visit with that recruit that had us locked out for one of our grades being too low. He did come in and it says that he attended position meetings because our grade was A+ on that. And he had a complimentary visit with someone else, but we ended up losing out to him to Utah. We got 2nd place on him. We lost the last 2 games of the season. We lost to number 18 Penn State 37-20, and we lost to Wisconsin 40-33 in the last game of the season. Brosmer had 116 rating, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 38% completion. That's just terrible, man. We cannot get any worse at quarterback going forward. Taylor had a good game, 15 carries, 152 yards, 2 touchdowns. Why wouldn't they just keep feeding him the ball non-stop? Dude had 3 carries over 20 yards, 5 tackles, 110 yards after contact. Is just insane, man. Daniel Jackson, 6 catches, 157 yards, 2 touchdowns, and potentially the last game of his career. We went 5-7 on the season, so I don't think that we're bowl eligible. I think you have to be at least 6-6 to be eligible to go to a bowl. Henderson had 9 tackles. Lindenberg had 1 sack, and then Henderson had also the only interception. Oh, that's it. Wait, same guy. 9 tackles and an interception. And once again, since we lost, we did lower our championship contender grade down to a C. We need a B- to try to get that 5-star running back. I'm going to leave it on here for now and see if for some reason our championship contender grade goes up. I don't think it will since we have no more games left. It's early National Signing Day. We are 37th ranked in the country. We have 9 total recruits, 2 5-stars, 3 4-stars, and 4 3-stars. Officially end of the season. Time to look at the season stats. Brosmer did not do so great. 2,900 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, 51% completion on the season. 124 rating, that is terrible. Russian, Darius Taylor, they should have given him the ball way more. 187 carries for 1,000 yards, 5.8 per carry. Give him the ball twice and he's got a 1st down, man. 11 touchdowns, 35 broken tackles. He had 528 yards after contact. That's crazy. Receiving, Tyler Williams, a redshirt freshman, 61 catches, 3 yards short of 1,000 with 8 touchdowns. Spencer had 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. Daniel Jackson played his last game, 36 catches, almost 600 yards with 8 touchdowns. Pretty good season. Tight end had 25 for 325 and 1 touchdown. Defensively, Henderson had the most tackles. The strong safety was 70. Lindenberg had the 2nd most with 68. Tackles for loss, Danny Strigau, 10, had the most on the team by double. Joyner had 5 in 2nd place. But Joyner did have the most sacks with 9. He is a redshirt senior, so he will be leaving the team. Anthony Smith, a sophomore, had the 2nd most with 5.5. And then Danny Strigau, redshirt senior, with 5 sacks. Interceptions, Henderson had 2. Lindenberg had 1. Bryson, Green, and Robinson all had 1. Looking at the 2024 college football playoff bracket, Ohio State beat Florida State in the championship 38-28. Ohio State went 16-0. Had an undefeated championship season. We got a ton of bad news and players leaving. A lot of guys are wanting to transfer out. We just lost our starting running back, Darius Taylor, 88 overall. He said he's out of here. I tried to get him to stay. Only had 6 chances to get players to stay, and only 2 actually stayed. So our starting running back, I don't blame him for leaving because they decided to not give him the ball like every play. Sucks that we lost him. We also lost this defensive tackle. We lost our true freshman wide receiver, or not true freshman, redshirt freshman wide receiver, Tyler Williams. He's leaving. He didn't want to stay. All these guys are leaving, man. I was able to get a freshman free safety to stay. That's a 75 overall. And then a redshirt freshman right tackle. That's 74 overall. Everyone else, there's a bunch of guys that are leaving, as you can see. The one good thing that's coming out of this is our left tackle is a 94 overall. He's projected to go in the 1st round, so we should get some points for that. And then we have a bunch of guys in the high 80 overalls here that are not projected to get drafted, and they're all gone. So we're gonna need a new corner, new wide receiver, new defensive end, bringing in a new kicker. We need a new linebacker, pretty much half of our offensive line. We actually had 2 players get drafted. The left tackle did go in the 1st round, and then Justin Wally, the cornerback, who was an 87 overall, went in the 7th round. Essentially, we have no players interested in transferring to the team. We have a bunch of 2-star guys, so anybody that is a freshman, I'll go ahead and add them. But yeah, I was hoping that we were gonna have more opportunities, since a lot of people left. Then maybe a lot of other guys on other teams were like, hey, let me go there, since there's opportunity there. But nope, didn't happen. This has to be one of the craziest things I've ever seen. We're getting locked out by a bust punter because our coach prestige dropped down to a C+. The hell? That's how you know you're losing in this game, man. Quick update on recruiting. I'm over here trying to find some 3-stars that are worth going after, and I just found 4 busts in a row, so that should tell you that things are going swell. It's National Signing Day, and we finished with the 27th ranked recruiting class in the country. We only got 26 players because I was I was scouting every single player and trying to get players that weren't busts. 2 5-stars, 3 4-stars, 19 3-stars, and we did get 2 2-star transfers that were freshmen. The depth traits are going to be revealed now, so we're going to look at those. And I saw in the last video that I posted with the face cam for the first time that my head was in the way on the development traits, so I did move it to the side right now. But the future of the franchise: 5-star quarterback Jamil Maribel. He has star dev. That's great. We got a star dev left tackle blocking his blind side. Normal, impact, normal, elite. Oh man, this guy went to Boston College. I forgot. That's that 5-star running back that locked us out because one of our, I think it was a coach prestige grade dropped down. I don't remember what, maybe it was championship contender. But yeah, he had elite, man. We definitely need that right now because our running back decided to transfer out of the damn school. Impact, normal, impact. Bunch of normals, another impact, elite. Pass protecting left guard, 3-star Jim, nice. Impact, normal, bunch of normals, some impacts. And we have another elite possession. He's an athlete, so they're trying to say he's a tight end. We'll see what positions we need him to go at and what he's good at. Then we have a star athlete that's a possession tight end also. This is how far that we've fallen since the first season, and everyone transferred out. We are down to a 79 overall, and the highest rated player on the team are 2 79 overall true freshmen, man. We got a long ways to go. Gone through all the position changes. We got the offseason training done. This is what the team's looking like. We got 4 true freshmen that are gonna be starting for us. 2 of them are, a kicker and a punter. So I guess technically they're not starters, but they are. Then we also have 3 redshirt freshmen that are gonna be starting for us. So we're in a new era. As you can see on the top, we're actually up to 83 overall after all the training. We were in the 70s before. We're gonna have a true freshman starting at quarterback, Jamil Maribel, the guy we just got in this recruiting class. He has a ton of physical abilities and a couple of mental abilities. 79 overall. Only one below a redshirt sophomore who's at 80 overall. So I decided to start him over that guy. 90 speed, 93 throw power. His short accuracy is pretty comparable. Mid accuracy is not the greatest compared to Whitkey, but his deep accuracy is comparable. Everything else is pretty much comparable as far as passer ratings go. So we're gonna go ahead and start him right away. At running back, we have a senior, 5th year, 81 overall, Saya Bangura. His speed is only 86, which is not ideal, but he is the highest overall. I did move Pat Quincy. He was an athlete scrambling quarterback. I moved on to running back because he was a 75 overall with 88 speed, which is the 2nd fastest running back on the team. I'm not gonna redshirt him. I'm gonna go ahead and let him be in there. So next season it's gonna be Godfrey and Quincy, unless we can get some stud in this recruiting class. At wide receiver, we got a 79, a 76, and a 73, so we definitely got way worse there. At tight end, we got an 80 overall redshirt senior. Left tackle, we're starting a true freshman, Alex Rivera, 79 overall. He has 3 physical and 3 mental abilities. Left guard, we got a redshirt sophomore, 80 overall. At center, redshirt freshman, he's already a 78 overall, Nathan Roy. Right guard, redshirt sophomore, 77 overall. Right tackle, redshirt sophomore, 76 overall. So a lot of these guys are sophomores or redshirt sophomores. So this team is going to have a lot of potential to grow after the next couple of seasons if they decide not to leave the freaking team and transfer out. Another redshirt sophomore at defensive end, 81 overall, Jackson Howard. Other defensive end redshirt freshman, 78 overall, Riley Sunrum. And defensive tackle, we actually have a junior, 81 overall, and then a redshirt sophomore, 77 overall. Outside linebacker, we have a redshirt senior. He's only a 76 overall. Middle linebacker, we're starting a true freshman, Dwayne Biggers. He's a 75 overall. Dude is 6'1", 231 pounds, but he has 89 speed. His tackling is actually 83, which is pretty comparable to other guys that are sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Outside linebacker, Gerlach. He is a redshirt junior, only a 75 overall. At cornerback, Daquan Bryan jumped up to 84 overall. He's a 93 redshirt sophomore. And then we actually have in the third string, Chad Bequette. He's a true freshman, 77 overall already, and he has 96 speed. 79 man coverage. Zone coverage is only 69, which is not ideal, but we got to use them. Free safety, we got a sophomore, 74 overall, and at strong safety, a redshirt freshman, 78 overall. This is what recruiting is looking like right now. I'm going after a 5-star gym quarterback, JJ Cameron, because we do have a need for a quarterback on the team. If we could get him, he could potentially challenge to be the starter, depending on how our true freshman does. But this guy has 94 speed, which is insane for a scrambling quarterback. 91 throw power, 87 short accuracy, 83 medium accuracy, 85 throw on the run. We're second on the board for this power running back that's 6 foot, 232 pounds. We gained pretty good against Notre Dame on the second week of recruiting. And he only has 89 speed, but is a power back, and that can obviously develop as the years go on. 86 trucking, 86 brake tackle with 84 stiff arm, and he does have 90 acceleration for someone that's big. Pretty good. Wide receiver Carl Nasserildine. How the hell do you say this name? He is the number 4 wide receiver in his position, 5-star, got him 100% scouted, and we're actually first on him because we're able to put 75 points on a wide receiver. He has 95 speed. He's only 5'10", 209 pounds, but he's a deep threat. 94 agility, 96 acceleration. This tight end, Shaquille Heslop, he is a 4-star gem. We are first on him. Second on this 4-star gem, left tackle Ricky Garrison. We gained a lot, and we're right on Virginia Tech's heels. We should be passing him after this week. 4-star left end Titus Pamphile. The hell, another weird name. 5-star defensive tackle Emmett Gannon. We did gain a lot on that one. There's a lot of people going after him, but I see us getting in the lead after a week or two. Same thing with Vaughn Trinidad. He is a 4-star gem strong safety, 6'2", 203 pounds. Dude has 95 speed, 79 zone coverage. And then there was another 4-star safety that's a gem, Dylan Kuhn, 6 foot, 202 pounds. We're in second, and we did gain a crap load. He has 89 speed, so it's a little bit slower, but he does have 81 zone coverage. Looking at our coach contract, we're on a 2-year deal, and we're technically in the second season, and they expect us to get 7 wins with this team. I don't know how well that's going to go. It says that we're on the hot seat with the 49% job security, so hopefully we can get 7 wins. If not, we might be getting fired. This is what our schedule is looking like for season 2. First game of the year is at Buffalo. Then we play against number 25 ranked South Carolina at home. Then we have number 14 California, Rutgers, Purdue, Iowa, number 7 Oregon, Nebraska, Northwestern, number 2 Ohio State, Michigan State, and then Wisconsin. We start the season off in a good way with a win over Buffalo, 31-21. First start of the career for the true freshman quarterback, Jamil Maribel. He had a 153 rating, 189 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 75% completion. Is that an amazing game? No, but I like the fact that he had 75% completion, which is way better than our last quarterback, and no interceptions is always nice. Saya Bangura, a running back, 15 carries, 72 yards, 1 touchdown. That's pretty good. And the freshman scrambling quarterback had 43 rushing yards. Nice. Receiving, Quentin Redding, 5 for 48 with the touchdown. Defensively, Biggers, the true freshman middle linebacker, led the team in tackles with 7, along with Gerlach, who had 7 sacks. Jackson Howard had 1, and Coy Perich, the freshman redshirt strong safety, had 1 interception. After that win for recruiting, we jumped into first place on literally every single person that we're going after except for 2 of them. One of them was Titus Panfield. We're in 3rd place, but we did gain a crap load. And then the other one is someone that we're spending 15 hours on because that's all we have left over. We managed to upset number 25 South Carolina 35-33 in a close game. They're no longer ranked because they are 0-2 starting off the season. Sucks to suck. Jamil Maribel, a great game here. Look, 170 rating, 308 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, did not get sacked, and 68% completion. It's off to a great start. He's already way better than our last quarterback. Run game was basically non-existent. Bangura only had 32 rushing yards on 16 carries. He did have 1 touchdown, but he did fumble the ball 1 time. Receiving, Kendrick Lanier had 5 for 111 with a touchdown. Brockington had 86 yards, and then Quentin Redding had 56 yards, 1 touchdown. Defensively, the freshman middle linebacker Biggers leading the team in tackles again with 6, and 2 other guys had 6. Sacks, Sunrum had 1, Howard and Devin Williams had 1, and no interceptions. First 3 games of the season could not have gone better. We are on a 3-game win streak. Beat California 40-21. They were actually ranked, I think, 22, even though they started the season 0-1. But we got an upset on them. True freshman quarterback Jamil Maribel, 148 rating, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Damn, he got sacked 5 times, only 53% completion, but we still got the win. Bangura had him a breakout game, 17 carries, 105 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 6.2 per carry, and he had 2 rushes over 20 yards. Receiving, Redding had 4 for 78. Hoskins had 1 touchdown, and Brockington had 1 touchdown. Defensively, the true freshman middle linebacker has been balling out, leading the team with 9 tackles. Sacks, Anthony Smith had 1.5, and then we have a bunch of guys with half a sack. Biggers, Gerlach, Parrish, Fennessy, and Howard. No interceptions. We got our first commit of the season, 4-star tight end Shaquille Heslop from Lake Oswego, Oregon. We just got our 4th win in a row. Cornerback Theo Newsome won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week with 1 interception, 4 tackles, and 1 touchdown. We beat Rutgers 31-23, getting off to a 4-0 start. This is crazy. Honestly, I'm very surprised that we were able to do this. I thought it was going to be a lot rougher start. Still a lot of season to go. Jamil Maribel, the worst game of his career so far, 121 rating, 260 yards passing, no touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked twice, only a 51% completion. Running back Bangura had 13 for 70 with 2 touchdowns. That's pretty good. 5.4 per carry. Probably should have given the ball a lot more. Receiving, Quentin Redding had a game, 7 for 136. No receiving touchdowns. Defensively, Gerlach had 8 tackles. Where's that freshman at? That's a cornerback. Here's Biggers, the middle linebacker, only had 3 tackles. His worst game so far. Sunrum had the 1 sack. Theo Newsome, we saw he had the interception, which ended up, it looks like it was probably a pick 6. And Zaquan Bryan had 1. Was it a pick 6? Just says touchdown. Quick update on recruiting. We're still in first place on most of the guys. We're in first on this 5-star scrambling quarterback. That's a Jim. First on Lamea. How the hell do you say his name? I had to schedule a visit for him because Notre Dame's coming in strong. Still in first by a good amount on this 5-star wide receiver. We did end up losing out on Titus Panfile, the 4-star Jim defensive end. Georgia came in strong as hell out of nowhere. Still in first on all these other guys except for this safety. We're in second. Notre Dame just passed us, so I might need to go ahead. Well, I don't even think if I schedule a visit, he's already in the top 3, so it looks like he's going to go to Notre Dame. I might consider taking him off completely. And I just put 50 hours on this running back, and we gained a decent amount. We got the 4-star running back Dewan Lamea from Greenwood, Indiana. We also got a 4-star left tackle Ricky Garrison from Buford, Georgia. 4-star strong safety Vaughn Trinidad from Monaca, Pennsylvania. This is big time right here. We just got the 5-star wide receiver Carl Nassarildeen from Leo, Indiana. Just suffered the first loss of the season against Purdue, making us 4-1. We lost 31-24. That's kind of a close score. Maribel had 142 rating, 250 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, did throw 2 interceptions, got sacked twice, 61% completion. Bangura had 79 yards rushing. Maribel actually had 64 yards rushing, but he did fumble the ball once. Receiving, Lanier had 108 yards, 1 touchdown. Gears had 53 yards, 1 touchdown, and Brockington had a touchdown. On defense, Dwayne Biggers, the true freshman middle linebacker, led the team with 10 tackles. Sacks, Sunrum had 1 and no interceptions. We bounced back with the win after losing to Purdue. We beat Iowa 20-13. We got a hard game coming up against number 2 Oregon. We're 5-1, but we are not ranked at this point. Looking at the stats, Maribel had a 159 rating, 197 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 54% completion. Bangura had 23 carries for only 92 yards, 4 yards per carry, no touchdowns. Receiving, Lanier had 100 yards, 1 touchdown. Brockington had a touchdown. Defensively, Biggers, 11 tackles, the most on the team by a lot. Smith had 1 sack, and Gerlach had 1 interception. We just had the biggest win of the entire rebuild so far. We beat Oregon, number 2. We upset them. We got the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. Kendrick Lanier, wide receiver, had 3 catches, 122 yards with 2 tutties. After upsetting Oregon 31-24, we were 6-1. We finally got some respect on our name, and we got ranked number 17. First time being ranked this season. Oregon drops down to number 8. Maribel had an insane game, like 200 rating, 216 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 61% completion. He had a 70-yard bomb. Bangura had a solid game, 19 carries, 102 yards, 5.4 per carry. Did have a fumble though. Receiving, we saw Lanier had a crazy game. Everyone else didn't really do much, but Hoskins had a touchdown. Defensively, we had 3 guys with 6 tackles. Sacks, Sunrum had 1, Williams had 1, and the true freshman cornerback Chad Bequette had an interception. We lost to Nebraska 29-10. That drops us down to rank number 18. Nebraska jumps up to being ranked number 15. They weren't even ranked before. See what happened with the stats here. Maribel had a terrible game, 82 rating, 100 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked 4 times, only 50% completion. Bangura had 60 rushing yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving, basically nobody did anything. Defensively, Gerlach had 9 tackles, Hopper had 1 sack, and no interceptions. Quick update on recruiting. It looks like we're going to lose out on the 5-star gym scrambling quarterback JJ Cameron to the University of Miami. We were in the lead the entire time. Miami just passed us, and I've been bouncing back and forth on sending the house and doing a hard sell, because our hard sell is not looking good because he likes proximity to home, and our grade is D-. It pretty much doesn't matter which one we do, we still get the same amount, and only do 50 hours on him. Next time we get a coaching upgrade, I'm definitely going to try to upgrade the quarterback to where we can put more hours on it. If we had the opportunity to do that, we could have definitely got this guy. And the quarterback we have right now is obviously looking good, but it's always good to have a backup option, obviously. And also, we lost out on Emmett Gannon, the 5-star defensive tackle, to Virginia Tech. I did have a backup plan in place for the quarterback. We got Vince Cook. He's a 4-star gym scrambling athlete. I've been scouting him or recruiting him for a couple of weeks. We're in first place on him. Have him 100% scouted. His speed is only 86, but that's still pretty good with 91 throw power, so I think that's a pretty good secondary option. We finally earned enough XP to get 10 more coach points here. I said I was going to do quarterback, but I don't think that we need to, because we have the other guy on lock. We already have pretty much who's going to be our starting quarterback for the rest of the rebuild. So I'm going to go ahead and use it on the D-line and linebackers. That way we get them both to where we can spend more points on them every week. We earned the XP because we beat Northwestern 28-21. We're 7-2 on the season, and we're ranked number 12 in the country. Maribel had a 199 rating, 91 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And man, don't tell me he got injured. It doesn't say he's injured, but for some reason he came out of the game, and Whitkey came in and did terrible. He had an 80 rating with 87 yards, no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, got sacked 3 times. It's like night and day here, man. I have flashbacks to last season with this quarterback stats. Bangura had a good game, 20 for 97, 2 touchdowns. Godfrey had a rushing touchdown. Receiving, Redding had 1 touchdown. Defensively, Biggers had the most tackles with 6. Howard had a sack, not an interception. We had 0 interceptions. As expected, we did lose out on the 5-star gem quarterback J.J. Cameron to the University of Miami. Biggest game of the season is coming up against #1 ranked Ohio State. They are 9-0. Hopefully we can get this dub. About to simulate it right now. Man, talk about a tough loss. Look at that score. Ohio State beat us 59-7. We fall to being ranked number 21, 7-3 on the season. Maribel had a 124 rating, only 100 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Dude got sacked 6 times running for his freaking life. 58% completion. Running game non-existent. Redding had 1 touchdown receiving. Defensively, Gerlach had 8 tackles. Sunrum had 1 sack, and we had no interceptions. Wonder what the other side's looking like. Ohio State, how many sacks did they have? Well, we saw they had 6. Edric Houston had 3 sacks, man. What is their offensive stats looking like? Damn, their quarterback had 400 yards with 6 touchdowns. Only got sacked once, 75% completion. Going crazy. We did get the 4-star quarterback. He was an athlete. He was a backup option at quarterback. Vince Cook from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. We also got a 4-star center, Kenan Roto from Lake Oswego, Oregon. We picked up our 8th win of the season in a close game against Michigan State, 17-16. We're 8-3 on the season with ranked 16th in the country. Maribel had a 113 rating, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Got sacked 3 times with a 48% completion. Definitely not great. Maribel had the most rushing yards, 15 carries, 40 yards. Running game was basically non-existent. Lanier had 1 receiving touchdown. Defensively, Gerlach had 10 tackles. Williams and Smith both had sacks. And then Zaquan Bryan had 2 interceptions, the sophomore, 84 overall. The best thing about this season so far is that we got our 7-win need for the coach contract. We have 8 wins, so we surpassed it. We went from having a 49% job security on the hot seat to 80% with safe for now. We finished the regular season 9-3, ranked number 13 in the country. We beat Wisconsin 34-28, making them 7-5 on the season. Maribel had a 144 rating, 198 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 66% completion. Bangura had a good game, 15 for 91 and a touchdown. Maribel with another rushing touchdown. Lanier had 1 touchdown. Gears had 1 touchdown receiving. Hoskins had 71 yards. Defensively, we had 2 guys with 6 tackles. No sacks, but we did get 4 interceptions. Zaquan Bryan, 2 interceptions. Kelly had 1 and Parrish had 1. Our contract got extended for 5 more years. We finished the season ranked 5th in the Big Ten, so we're definitely not playing in the conference championship. Ohio State's 12-0, and it looks like they're going to be playing against Michigan, I guess. We made it to our first bowl game of the rebuild, the DirecTV Holiday Bowl in San Diego against number 22 SMU. We're ranked number 14. We have 4 offers to be a coach at a different team. Offensive coordinator for Auburn, and then we have 3 head coaching offers, including Colorado, Florida, and USC. Obviously, we're not taking any of them. It's early National Signing Day. We have the 18th ranked recruiting class at this point. 14 total players with 1 5-star, 7 4-stars, and 6 3-stars. We ended up losing our first bowl game appearance against SMU, 38-24. Maribel had a 138 rating, 278 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked once, 61% completion. Rushing, basically non-existent, all under 3 yards per carry, but Bangura did have 1 rushing touchdown. 2 receivers over 100 yards. Hoskins had 2 touchdowns. Defensively, Gerlach had 6 tackles, most on the team, and then Biggers and Smith each had half a sack. No interceptions. Since the season's over, it's time to look at the season stats. The true freshman quarterback did not have a great season, but he definitely didn't have a bad season. 2,600 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, 60% completion with a 143 rating. Definitely better than the quarterback we had last year. Bangura in his redshirt senior year, 200 carries, 894 yards, 4.5 per carry with 11 rushing touchdowns. Not bad. And then the quarterback Maribel had 400 yards rushing, only 3.2 per carry with 1 more rushing touchdown. Receiving, the most yards was Lanier with 700. Most catches was Redding with 53. Most touchdowns was Lanier with 7. Redding had 4. Rockington had 4. Hoskins had 4. And then Gears at tight end had 3. Defensively, the true freshman middle linebacker had 82 tackles, leading the team, tied with Gerlach, who had 82. That's a deal breaker. Coach prestige is not good, but it doesn't show our grade. So hopefully he doesn't try to transfer. We need him, man. Tackles for loss, Jackson Howard had the most with 11. Sacks, Sunrum had 5, Smith had 4, Howard had 3.5, and Williams had 3. Not necessarily getting a lot of pressure on this defense. Daquan Brown had a lot of interceptions the last couple of games. He had 5 for the season, 2 for Parrish, and then Gerlach, Kelly, Bequette, and Newsom all had 1. I usually don't show the kick return stats, but we actually had a return for a touchdown for the first time in all the rebuilds I've done. Kristen Hoskins had 19 kick returns, 590 yards. 1 touchdown was 99 yards. That's crazy. We're at players leaving, and I forgot to show the college football playoff bracket, and it won't let me see it now, so I guess I just passed it. We have one player that wants to transfer, the defensive tackle, redshirt freshman Xavier Miles. It said we had a high persuasion chance to keep him, and I tried to persuade him, but he said no, he's leaving. Nobody else wanted to leave, luckily. But we're losing our starting running back and our starting tight end, starting defensive end, and 2 starting receivers. We did not have anyone drafted at all. This year, we actually have a lot of guys that want to transfer to our school in the portal. We do have a couple of 4-star players here that I'm going to look at. I'm going to scout them and see what they're looking like. We actually have one quarterback. Where is he at? Zane Flowers, coming from Oklahoma State. He's a 4-star sophomore. I think I'm happy with the quarterback that we have, but I'm at least going to scout this guy and see what he's looking like. It's always good to have competition, right? National Signing Day, we finished with the 15th ranked recruiting class. 28 total players, 1 5-star, 9 4-stars, 17 3-stars, and 1 2-star. It's time to look at some dev traits. We got impact on this 4-star running back, elite on this 5-star wide receiver. That is freaking awesome. Dude has a ton of abilities. Star on this tight end, elite on this 4-star left tackle. Nice. Impact, normal, star on this 3-star agile athlete, normal, impact. Star on this 3-star run stopping linebacker, impact, normal, star on this 4-star defensive end, transfer, sophomore coming over. This guy went to Florida State. Get out of here, bro. Normal impact on this guy. And 2 punters I was going after. Well, actually, I was going after this one punter, but he decided not to go to any schools. All right, cool. Also, on a side note, I did not get that transfer quarterback. I decided not to go after him since we got Vince Cook, and we already have essentially our starting quarterback for the rest of the rebuild. We ended up getting 17,000 XP during the off-season stuff, so I just upgraded the quarterback to 3, and then the entire defense got upgraded to 4. We got some huge gains during the training results. Off-season training went crazy. Before the training, we were 82 overall, and offense and defense was both 82. After the training, we jumped up to 87 overall, 89 offense, 86 defense. Riley Sunrum was a defensive end. I think he was only like an 81 or 82, but I moved him to D-tackle because he's 275 pounds, and he immediately jumped up to an 86 before training. After training, dude's up to a 90. Quarterbacks, Whitkey jumped over Maribel by a lot, 86 overall, but he played like shit whenever he was in there. Maribel's up to 83. I'm definitely going to be sticking with him for sure. Here's the official starting lineup for season 3. We're already starting off ranked number 9 in the country. Maribel definitely earned the right to be the starting quarterback as a sophomore. He's an 83 overall. I'm gonna start him over Whitkey, who's an 86 overall, but like I said, he played terrible last year whenever he came in for that one game. We got Jalen Buckley starting at running back. He's an 83 overall. He's a transfer. Quincy's gonna be the backup running back, 81 overall. At fullback, we got a redshirt freshman starting. He's 73 overall. Wide receiver, Kristen Hoskins is the highest overall, 81, which is not great for the highest overall rated wide receiver. It's definitely a weak area that we have. But we have the 5-star wide receiver, Nasser Rildeen. I don't even know how to say this dude's name. 78 overall. He's already the 2nd highest rated wide receiver on the entire team, and he's the fastest with 95 speed. At tight end, we got a redshirt freshman who's already 82 overall, Nate Lovett. He has 82 speed. He's 6'2", 231 pounds, possession guy. This is by far the best team we've had overall, though. The offensive line is definitely the best. We got an 86 overall left tackle. That's a senior. 84 left guard. That's a junior. Center is an 84. That is a sophomore. Right guard is 84 junior. And right tackle is a sophomore, 81 overall. Defensive end, 86 overall, and Waneri. Yeah, I think that's how you say it. He's a transfer coming over. Junior. At right end, we got an 85 overall, Jackson Howard. Defensive tackle, I moved Sunrum, like I said earlier, from defensive end to D tackle. He's a 90 overall sophomore. And then Anthony Smith is an 86 as a red shirt senior. Outside linebacker Gerlach is 83. He's a senior. Middle linebacker Biggers, he definitely earned the starting job. He had the most tackles on the team. He's starting over Alex Elliott once again. He's up to 81 overall. He has 89 speed. He's 6'1", 231 pounds. Outside linebacker Jermaine Workman, 78 overall sophomore with 88 speed. At cornerback, we have Zaquan Bryan, number 1 corner, 87 overall. And then Chad Bequette is a sophomore, 85 overall, and he has 99 speed. At free safety, 81 overall, Kerry Brown is a junior. And at strong safety, 80 overall, Matthew Bailey is a redshirt senior. This is what recruiting is looking like at the beginning of season 3. I'm going after 4 5-star guys. I'm already in the top 3 in all of them. I'm first on 2 of them, as you can see. And then we have a bunch of 4-star guys that I have 100% scouted. Most of them are gyms, if not, or actually all of them I'm going after are gyms. The only one I'm worried about is Jimmy Best, agile athlete. I did put 60 hours on him, and we barely made any improvement on him. Alabama has a pretty big lead there. This is what the schedule is looking like. We're right out the gate going against number 20 Tennessee, Mississippi State, UCLA, Akron, Northwestern, Washington, Indiana, Michigan, Purdue, Penn State, Iowa, and Wisconsin. I don't know if you saw at the very beginning, we have like 5 home games in a row. 2, 3, 4, yeah. I tried to change it around, but all the scheduling was like pretty much locked in on the ones that we can change. We couldn't change these ones, so that's like the weirdest looking schedule I've ever seen. 5 home games in a row. We start the season off on a high note, beating number 20 Tennessee 35-29. That puts us at number 6 in the country. Looking at the stats, Maribel did an okay 150 rating, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Didn't get sacked at all, 61% completion. Luckily, our new starting running back, 50 yards, 1 touchdown, 3.9 per carry. Maribel had a rushing touchdown also. So that gives him 4 touchdowns. That's pretty good. Robles had 84 yards, 2 touchdowns. Hoskins 80 with a touchdown. Defensively, Elliott had the most tackles with 7 sacks. We got Anthony Smith and Sunrum both getting sacks. And Ryland Kelly, the senior cornerback, had 1 interception. We got our second win in a row. We beat Mississippi State 26-24 in another close game, and that puts us at number 4 ranked in the country. Maribel did not do great. 130 rating, 284 yards, no touchdowns, but no interceptions. Got sacked 3 times, 63% completion. Rushing, Maribel went crazy running the ball. 12 carries, 91 yards, 2 touchdowns. Got a 54-yard run. And then Buckley had 19 carries for 60 yards, only averaged 3.2 per carry, but he had a rushing touchdown. And the 5-star freshman wide receiver, not running back, Carl Nasariladeen, however the hell you say his name, had 8 catches, 114 yards. Dude went crazy. Defensively, Kelly had the most tackles at cornerback. That's crazy. Anthony Smith had a sack. Interceptions, Kelly had 1, and Zaquan Bryan had 1. We just got our 3rd win in a row, and Jamil Maribel at quarterback won Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week. 239 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. We destroyed UCLA 52-10, jumping us up to number 3 in the country. Love to see that for sure. Maribel had a 210 rating. We already saw his stats, at least passing. 72% completion, no sacks. Did he have any rushing yards? 9 for 32 and 2 touchdowns. Buckley finally had a breakout game, 14 carries, 102 yards, 7 yards per carry with no touchdowns. Nasarildeen went crazy again, 9 catches, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, but Robles only had 5 catches, but 3 of them were for tutties, man. Putting in that work. Elliott had the most tackles for us. Sacks, we had a lot here. Sunrum had 1.5, Smith had 1.5, Wandery Williams, I'm just gonna call him Williams, had 1. Rylan Kelly had a half, and Jackson Howard had a half. Rylan Kelly also had an interception, and Kerry Brown had an interception. I think that Rylan Kelly has like 2 or 3 interceptions at this point. Behind the scenes, I'm still trying really hard on the recruiting process. I just feel like it's boring to show at this point. I'm going to prove it by showing it right now, and nobody's saying in the comments that they want to keep watching more of it. We are in first place on everybody except for Moon. We are second. Penn State just passed us. And everyone else, we're in first. We actually took first over Alabama on this agile athlete guard. Most likely a guard, I would assume, at 286 pounds. Maybe tackle, but I don't know. 4 wins in a row to start the season would beat Akron 25-17. Still ranked number 3 in the country. Maribel, a 145 rating, 185 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Got sacked once. High completion percentage of 71. Buckley had a crazy game. Definitely the best game of his career in this season. 15 carries, 128 yards, 8.5 per carry with 2 touchdowns. Maribel had 17 rushing attempts with 60 yards. And let's see, it looks like a backup running back, Pat Quincy. I think he was the athlete quarterback, like a scrambling quarterback that we moved to running back. He had 2 carries, 4 yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving, Nasirildeen had 6 for 74, no touchdowns. Defense, Dwayne Biggers, he was a freshman last year starting for us at middle linebacker. He's still starting this year, but he finally led the team in tackles for a game with 7. Sacks, Anthony Smith with another one, Jackson Howard with another one, and Gerlach had 1, and no interceptions. We got our first commit of the season, tight end Dennis Wayne from Little River, South Carolina. He's a 4-star. I think he was a gem too. We are now officially on a 5-game win streak. We beat Northwestern 42-28. That bumps us up to rank number 2 in the country. Definitely our highest rating so far in the rebuild. Maribel had a hell of a game, 173 rating, 288 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked once, 75% completion. Love to see that. Buckley with another 100-yard game, 1 touchdown, 6.2 per carry. Maribel had 58 yards rushing, and then the backup running back Quincy with another touchdown, and Robles, wide receiver, actually had a rushing touchdown. Nasirildeen, 11 catches, 135 yards, 1 touchdown, and Robles had 5 catches for 2 touchdowns on 72 yards. So that gives him 3 touchdowns in the game if you include his rushing touchdown. Tackles, Elliott had the most with 7. Sacks, Elliott had 1, Hopper had 1, and Jackson Howard with yet another one. Rylan Kelly with 2 interceptions in this game. Man, this dude has a lot of interceptions so far. I'm gonna go look and see how many he has. I think he has like 5 already. Yeah, I was right. He has 5 interceptions on the year so far. 3 pass deflections. He does not have any pick sixes, but in 5 games, 5 interceptions, and he's from Winnipeg International. We got our second commit of the season, 5-star defensive end JC Silva from Southampton, Pennsylvania. And another 5-star defensive tackle, David Massafilo from Aurora, Illinois. Another 5-star outside linebacker, Josh Kiki from Clearfield, Pennsylvania. Another 5-star middle linebacker, Sean Mondo from Minneapolis, Minnesota. We got any more? I think that's all the 5 stars that we were actually going after. We suffered our first loss of the season against Washington in a very close shootout game, 46-43. Even with that loss, we still got 4 or 5 stars that committed. That bumps us down to number 13 in the country, sadly. Check out the stats here. Maribel with a great game, 184 rating, 294 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked 4 times, 60% completion. Buckley had 77 rushing yards with a touchdown. Maribel with another 75 rushing yards, and then the backup running back Quincy with the standard 1 rushing touchdown per game. Robles had the most yards, 112 with 2 touchdowns, and Nasirildeen had 7 for 85. Lovett, the tight end, redshirt freshman, had 3 for 44 with a touchdown. Defensively, we had 2 guys with 6 tackles, both cornerbacks. That's crazy. No sacks at all, and Theo Newsom had 1 interception at cornerback. I just realized that our first 5 games that we won were all the home games, because I forgot that we had 5 home games in a row. Then our first loss is on the road. Hopefully that doesn't continue, because we only have 2 more home games left, and then what is that, 4 away games. We bounced back with the win, and with that win we got Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week for Rylan Kelly with 2 interceptions, 5 tackles, and 1 touchdown against Indiana. Dude is having a season, man. That also gives him the National Defensive Player of the Week. Honestly, didn't see how he couldn't get it with that stat line. That gives us our first road win of the season. We beat Indiana 35-17. That jumps us back up to number 9. We were number 13. Looking at the game stats, Maribel 128 rating, only 99 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, got sacked once, 68% completion. Buckley went off though, 14 carries, 127 yards, 9 yards per carry with 2 touchdowns. Maribel with 9 carries for 100 yards on the ground, and the backup running back Pat Quincy with his must-have ceremonial touchdown of every game so far. I don't know if it's been every single game, but damn near. And then Robles had the 1 receiving touchdown on a 5-yard catch. Defensively, Biggers with 8 tackles led the team. Sunrum had a sack, Howard had 1, Schaller had 1. I don't think I've called that guy's name out at all. Max Elliott and Warney had half a sack. We saw Kelly had 2 interceptions. We did manage to beat Michigan 20-17 in another close game. That pushes us back up to in the top 5, ranked number 5. Looking at the stats, Maribel 127 rating, 200 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 1 sack, 57% completion. Buckley with 20 carries for 97 yards. Quincy with another freaking touchdown, man. This backup running back gonna lead the entire college in rushing touchdowns. Nasser-Dean had 5 for 88, and Robles had another receiving touchdown. Daquan Bryan led the team in tackles with 8 sacks. We got Alex Elliott with 1, and Wannery had 1. Anthony Smith had 1. Daquan Bryan with the interception, and Dwayne Biggers with the interception. We just picked up our 8th win of the season against Purdue, 35-29. That puts us in ranked number 4 in the country, 8-1 on the season. Our next game against number 19 Penn State. Maribel had a great game, 211 rating, 320 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked twice, 64% completion. Buckley 19 carries, 68 yards with a touchdown. Maribel had another 26 rushing yards, and our backup running back didn't even get any carries, so I didn't have a chance to get his ceremonial touchdown. Nasser-Dean had 3 catches, 2 touchdowns. That's some Randy Moss type stat line. 128 yards, 72 yards is the longest. He had 108 yards run after catch on 128 yards. That's crazy. Robles 84 yards, and then TJ McWilliams with the receiving touchdown. I don't think he's done that at all this year. We got Chad Bequette and Dwayne Biggers both leading the team with 7 tackles, and a couple guys had half of a sack. No interceptions. The winning streak continues. We knocked Penn State out of the top 25. We beat them in a close game, 26-23. That puts us at number 3 in the country. We got number 25 Iowa coming up. Check out the stats. Maribel 165 rating, 264 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, got sacked 3 times. 75% completion is awesome. Buckley had 58 yards, 1 touchdown. Maribel with another 42 yards. Quincy did get 1 carry but no touchdowns. Nasser-Dean had 4 for 77, and Nate Love at the tight end got, I think that's his 2nd receiving touchdown of the season. Brown had the most tackles with 9 sacks, none, and no interceptions. Damn, we suffered our 2nd loss of the season against Iowa, 20-17 in a close game. Puts us at 9-2 on the year and ranked number 9. Maribel had a 140 rating, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, got sacked 3 times, 58% completion. Running game is looking pretty terrible overall. Receiving, Nasser-Dean had 5 for 68. Robles had a touchdown, and the tight end Lovett had his 3rd touchdown of the season. Defensively, Bailey and Biggers both had 7 tackles leading the team. Biggers with another sack, Anthony Smith with 1, Sunrum with 1, and then Howard and Wannery had half a sack each. No interceptions. We did get a win. We finished the regular season 10-2. We made it to the Big Ten championship game against number 23 USC, and we are ranked number 6. We barely beat Wisconsin 21-17, and they went 4-8 on the season, so that's definitely not good. Take a closer look. Maribel only played like half the game apparently. It doesn't say that he's injured though. 148 rating, 78 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And then Whitkey came in and did what he did, plays worse than Maribel. That's the reason why he's not starting, even though he's a higher rated overall. Rushing, Buckley had 59 yards and a touchdown. Robles had a rushing touchdown at wide receiver. Robles also had the most yards, 4 catches, 63 yards. Hoskins had 1 receiving touchdown. Nasser only had 1 catch for 8 yards. Defensively, we got 4 guys with 5 sacks leading the team. Sunrum and Workman both had sacks. Interceptions, Kerry Brown had 1 and Bequet had 1. Did I say that we had 4 guys that have 5 sacks? I meant 5 tackles. I'm looking at the Heisman Trophy leaders right now. This is the first time I've looked at this in the entire game. I've never even looked at it ever before. But Boston College and has 2 guys. They're ranked number 1 in the country. They have 2 guys here. A quarterback that's 75 overall and a wide receiver that's 84 overall. That is weird. We're all the way to week 15 in the season. We have not played USC and the Big Ten championship yet, but we got a 5-star center, Pat Kearns. For some reason, he didn't have a lot of interest from other teams. I started going at him really hard probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was able to get him. We got our first Big Ten championship of the rebuild. I want to see what the score is for this USC game. It wasn't necessarily a blowout. It was kind of close, I guess. We beat them 21-13. That puts us at number 5, and USC drops down to number 24. They went 8-5 on the season. We went 11-2. Maribel had 114 rating, not good. 156 yards, not 56. 1 interception, 1 sack, 61% completion. Buckley had 16 for 77 with 2 touchdowns. Maribel had another 45 yards. Pat Quincy's back with his ceremonial touchdown. Receiving, we got no touchdowns. Robles had 4 for 59. Defensively, Bequet had 10 tackles. Elliott had 11. Sacks, 0. Interceptions, 0. I guess those Boston College players that were in the running for the Heisman fell off because Clemson's quarterback Christopher Vizina, I don't know how to say his name, won the Heisman. 37 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. It's early National Signing Day. We have the 5th ranked recruiting class in the country. 15 total recruits. We got 5 5-stars, 7 4-stars, and 3 3-stars. Looking at the 2026 college football playoff, we are the number 2 seed at the very bottom. We're going to play against either number 9 Pittsburgh or number 4 Oklahoma. They both went 9-3 on the season. We're going to be playing against Pittsburgh. They're ranked number 9 in the country in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl. They are 85 overall. We are 87 overall. Hopefully we can get us a win. We officially got our first playoff win of the rebuild. We're going to be playing against number 6 Auburn in the Rose Bowl game. We barely beat Pittsburgh 31-28. Managed to scrape by. Maribel had a terrible game. 126 rating, 247 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He got sacked 4 times and he had a 46% completion. Not good, buddy. Buckley had 73 yards rushing with 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Nasser 6 for 101, no touchdowns. Robles and Hoskins both had a touchdown. Defensively, Kelly had the most tackles with 7. Howard had a sack. Gerlach, Anthony Smith, and then Elliott and Workman both had half a sack. No interceptions. Auburn beat us in a defensive game. It was a low scoring 17-7 loss. Maribel had not a great game once again. 93 ratings, not good. 165 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Got sacked 3 times, 50% completion. Basically no running game. Buckley had 12 carries for 20 yards, not even 2 yards per carry with 1 rushing touchdown. Receiving, Robles had 5 for 70, led the team. Defensively, Elliott had the most sacks, or most tackles. I keep on calling tackles sacks for some damn reason. He had 6 tackles. Sacks, Elliott had 1, Anthony Smith had 1, and then Zaquan Bryan had 1 interception. Clemson ended up winning the national championship against Auburn 33-14. Next season, we're making it to the ship. I'm calling it right now. I never looked at these before either, but we actually have a first-team All-American defensive tackle, Riley Sunrum. And then we didn't have any second teamers. We do have a freshman national All-American tight end, Nate Lovett. We have 3 players that want to leave. We actually have Riley Sunrum. He was a defensive end for 2 seasons, and I moved him to defensive tackle this year. He wins first team All-American for the national, and now he's projected to go in the 1st round in the draft. I'm going to try to get him to stay. Nope. And then Zaquan Bryan, the cornerback, projected to go in the 3rd round. I'm going to try to get him to stay. It says persuasion chance is guaranteed. All right, he decided to stay. And we do have one running back that wants to transfer out because of playing time. He decided to stay. We do have a senior that's graduating, defensive tackle Anthony Smith, that's projected to go in the 7th round of the draft. Ashton Beers is 87, but he's not projected to go at all. Rylan Kelly, he's up to 85. I think he was only like an 81 at the beginning of the season, and he had a crazy first half of the season, 5 interceptions in 5 games, so he was trying hard to get the NFL to notice him. Wouldn't be surprised if he sneaks in there to get drafted, but at the same time, maybe not. Our starting running back is gone, Jalen Buckley, so we'll be having us a new starting running back. We had 3 players get drafted. Defensive tackle Riley Sunrum went in the 1st round. Other defensive tackle Anthony Smith in the 5th round, and then Ashton Beers, the right tackle that was 87 overall, wasn't even projected to get drafted. It goes in the 6th round. Last season, the transfer portal was going crazy. We had a bunch of 3-star and 4-star guys. This season, we only have 2 4-stars and then a ton of 2-stars. Not even gonna look at the 2-stars, but I am interested in these cornerbacks. They're both 4-stars and they're both sophomores. We just graduated a cornerback, and we're gonna be having another one graduating this year that's gonna be going in probably the 1st round, maybe top 3. So I'm gonna be looking at these guys for sure. It's National Signing Day. We finished with the 2nd ranked recruiting class. I was really trying to get the 1st one, but Georgia beat us barely by a little over 2 points. We got 31 total recruits, 5 5-stars, 9 4-stars, and 17 3-stars. It's time to look at dev traits. We got impact here, star dev for this 5-star defensive tackle, elite for this 5-star outside linebacker, elite for a 5-star middle linebacker, impact, star dev for this tight end, impact, normal. We got star dev for this power rushing defense or outside linebacker, my bad. Got another star dev, star for this 5-star athlete, nice. Impact, any more star or elites down here? We got a star dev, 3-star gym power rusher, impact, star dev for this guy. Wait, he went to Houston. Get out of here. We got another guy here that went to a different. Those 4-star cornerbacks, where are they at? Oh, here they are. Okay, so both of them only have impact. Those 2 transfers, I was able to get both of them. My dumbass just realized that I didn't show the stats from this past season. But quarterback Maribel, he had a pretty similar season to last year, slightly better. Definitely threw for way more yards, 3,295 or 94 yards, 25 touchdowns, 3 more than last year. Same amount of interceptions with 6. Did get sacked 3 more times. He had a better completion percentage by 3%. And he also had way more rushing yards, 161 carries, over 700 yards, and 5 touchdowns. At running back, Pat Quincy is our highest overall with 84. He only had 38 carries for 90 yards last year, but he was a backup running back that was scoring a touchdown a lot. He had 6 touchdowns on 38 carries, only 2 catches for 9 yards. At wide receiver, the standout season was definitely from the 5-star freshman Carl Nassar-Rildine, 77 catches, 1,100 yards with 5 tutties. The highest rated pass rusher on the team is defensive end Williams Nwaneri. He only had 3.5 sacks last year. Our other defensive end did have 5 sacks, but I think he's like 86 or 87 overall rated. The highest rated defensive back on the team is the 5th-year senior cornerback Zaquan Bryant. Could have went to the draft, but the dude said he wants to win a natty in Minnesota. He did have 67 tackles last year. He had 3 interceptions. This is the official starting lineup for the 4th season of the rebuild. As you can see in the top left, we are ranked number 1 in the preseason. Maribel is in the 3rd season as a starter. He's up to a 89 overall, technically 87, but he has some skill boosts bumping him up to 89. Running back, we got Pat Quincy. He's gonna be starting for us. He was the backup last year. Really hasn't had very many attempts. We're gonna ride him heavy because he's the highest overall, 84, and then we have a couple of redshirt freshmen behind him. And it looks like Dewan Lauamea is gonna be our power back in those situations. 78 overall redshirt freshman. At wide receiver, we have Lanier the 2nd. He's our highest overall, 87. He's a redshirt senior. And then Nassar-Rildine coming back in his 2nd year is already an 84 overall, 2nd best receiver on the team. And we have a couple 84 guys behind him. At tight end, I'm gonna go ahead and start Shaquille Heslop, the redshirt freshman, over top of Lovett. Lovett was our starter last year. Heslop's already on the same level as him, but he is faster with 87 speed, and he is bigger, 6'6", 252 pounds. Lovett is only 6'2", 231 pounds, and his speed is slower at 82. Left tackle, we have an 85, Left guard 87 overall. At center we have a 90. Right guard 87. Right tackle 84. So hopefully our pass blocking can get better and our run blocking as well. Offensive line is looking good. At defensive end, Nwaneri is a senior. He's an 88 overall. Other defensive end is Jackson Howard, redshirt senior, 87 overall. We are taking a pretty big step back at defensive tackle since ours left and went to the draft. Got drafted in the first round. We have a redshirt senior, Martin Owusu, starting for us, 80 overall, but we do have 2 5-star defensive tackles that I'm going to go ahead and let them play as true freshmen because they are the second and third highest rated on the team. Kearns is a 79 and Masafilo is a 78. Outside linebacker, Alex Elliott's an 83 as a senior. Middle linebacker, we're going to start a new true freshman, Sean Mondu. He's a 78 overall already. Dwayne Biggers did good for us in the last 2 seasons, but he's already a junior and he's only an 81 overall. So Sean Mondu is on the same level as him already as a true freshman and has potential to be way better. Other outside linebacker is Tremaine Workman, 82 overall. At cornerback, we have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Zaquan Bryan, 89 overall, redshirt senior. And then we have Chad Bequette, number 2 corner. He's up to 86, still got his 99 speed. Then we have the 2 transfers here in the 3rd and 4th slot. Conley's at 85, Alexander's at 81. At free safety, we have Kerry Brown, redshirt senior, 83 overall. But if we go ahead and start Trinidad over top of him, he's already 82 overall as a freshman with 95 speed. I think I talked myself into it. Got another freshman starting. At strong safety, we have Parrish, still starting for us. He's a redshirt junior, 80 overall. Here's the schedule for season 4. As you can see, we already ranked number 1 in the country. Mississippi State, San Jose State, number 16 Washington, Colorado State, Ohio State's not even ranked. That's crazy. USC's number 20, Iowa, number 15, Maryland, Indiana, Illinois, Nebraska, and Wisconsin. For recruiting this season, I'm going after all gym players except for 2 of them are not gyms. This guy, Avery Rattay, running back, he's not a gym. And this other guy, Dave Hurley, he's a 5-star right tackle. He is not a gym. Everyone else is a gym. We won our first 2 games of the season and somehow we dropped down to rank number 2, but the latest win was San Jose State, 34-31. I guess we just barely beat them, so they're like, oh, y'all don't deserve to be number 1. Maribel had a crazy game, 172 rating, 230 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, 58% completion. Pat Quincy, the backup running back who is now the feature back, 15 carries, 118 yards, no touchdowns as a starter though. Did have 1 fumble. Receiving, McWilliams had 2 for 74 with a tutty. And the tight end, redshirt freshman Heslop, 61 yards, 1 touchdown. Nasser-Rildeen had 1 catch for 8 yards and it was a touchdown. Defensively, Alex Elliott had the most tackles with 6 sacks. Nwaneri had 1. And Khalil Conley at corner had 1 interception. We got our 3rd win in a row against Washington, who was ranked number 9. They were 1-0. We gave them the first loss of the season. We beat them 49-24. Maribel had an awesome game. 203 ratings, pretty good. 200 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 73% completion. Nice. Pat Quincy at running backs going off. 20 carries, 139 yards, 3 touchdowns, 5 broken tackles. Nice. Heslop had a touchdown. Lanier had a touchdown. Nasser-Rildeen is really not doing much. I don't know why he's just not really got a whole lot going on this year. John Mando, the freshman middle linebacker, true freshman, leading the team with 11 tackles. No sacks at all. Alex Elliott had a sack. Juan Trinidad, the redshirt freshman safety, had an interception. And Khalil Conley had an interception. We got our first commit of the season, 4-star cornerback Ahmed Roberts. We got our first 5-star commit of the season. It is free safety Lawrence Chung from Hercules, California. Also a 4-star right end Lorenzo Rowland from Powder Springs, Georgia. A 4-star right end Josh Golden from Evanston, Illinois. We got a 4-star defensive tackle David Joy from Bradenton, Florida. And a 4-star defensive end Lamar Benshaw from Gilbert, Arizona. We started the season off 4-0. We just suffered our first loss to Ohio State. They were 3-1 on the year and they weren't even ranked. Now they jump up to number 19. That pushes us down to number 8, 4-1 on the season. We only lost by 1 point, 29-28. Let's take a closer look at the stats. Maribel had a decent game, 193 ratings, good. 280 yards is good, 4 touchdowns. 2 interceptions is definitely not ideal, but he did have a high completion percentage with 75. Once he had 77 rushing yards. Receiving, Nasruddin 4 for 96 with a touchdown. And Kendrick Lanier actually had 3 receiving touchdowns on 5 catches. That's insane. Sean Mondo, the freshman middle linebacker, led the team in tackles again with 10. Nwaneri had 1 sack and no interceptions. We got a 4-star running back, Avery Rattay from Cleveland, Ohio. The season started off great, but these last 2 games, we got 2 losses in a row. We just lost to number 5 USC, 31-24. That pushes us down to number 10, 4-2 on the season. Looking at the stats, Maribel had a 188 rating, 350 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. He got sacked 3 times, 75% completion. Running game was going terrible the whole time. Robles had 5 catches, 113 yards, and a touchdown. Nasruddin had a touchdown, and then Chestnut had a touchdown. Defensively, the most tackles on the team was Sean Mondo, once again with 7 sacks. Theorin Randall, how do you say that? Theorin? Yeah, I guess so. Defensive tackle, that's a redshirt senior, had 2 sacks in the same game. These next 2 games definitely aren't easier. We have number 8 Iowa, who's 4-1 on the season, and number 18 Maryland, who's 3-2 right now. So these 2 games right here could make or break the rest of our season. We can go on a win streak and win out the rest of the season and finish 10-2. We have a good chance of making it to the Big Ten championship and the playoffs. We got a nice bounce back win over Iowa, 27-21. That pushes us from number 10 all the way back up to number 3. That's good to see. Maribel didn't have a great game. 130 rating, 290 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 58% completion. Rushing game was okay. Maribel actually had the most yards with 62, and Pat Quincy had 1 touchdown on 50 yards rushing. Receiving, Lanier had 1 touchdown, 4 for 72. Nasruddin didn't do anything at all. He's injured. Yeah, that's great to see. I want to see how long he's out for, but we had 3 guys with 7 tackles on the defense. Theorin Randall coming out of nowhere with 2 sacks, 2 games in a row, and then Nwaneri had 1 sack, no interceptions. Nasruddin has a torn labrum. He's going to be out for 2 more weeks, and then our true freshman defensive tackle Pat Kearns has a compound foot fracture, out for 11 weeks. That's the reason why the other defensive tackle has got 2 sacks in a row. 2 games in a row, because he was a 3rd string, but now he's getting a lot of playing time. We got a 5-star defensive tackle, Rakeem Dunham from Bismarck, North Dakota. It said that he was a bust, but he's a 5-star, so I was like, I'm going after him anyways. We also got a 5-star tight end, Carlos Rossi from Las Vegas, Nevada. Since I last checked in, we won on a 4-game win streak. We beat Iowa, Maryland, Indiana, and Illinois. And the loss that we had to USC, they're not even ranked anymore. They're 6-4 on the year, so that loss looks really freaking bad. Look at this game for Illinois, 38-27 was the final score, with us getting the victory. Maribel at 180 rating, 330 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked twice with 64% completion. Looks like our backup running back got a ton of carries here. Redshirt freshman Dewan Laumea, 18 for 75 with a touchdown. And then even a 3rd string got 7 carries for 27 yards. So what the hell's going on with Quincy? He's injured. Injuries just keep piling up, man. McWilliams had 7 for 113 with 2 touchdowns receiving. Nasruddin is back. He had 6 catches for 110 yards. And Kendrick Lanier had 5 for 82 with a touchdown. Defensively, Sean Mondo had the most tackles with 6, and it says that he's injured now too. And Nwaneri had 1 sack. Hopper and Jackson Howard had a sack. Interception, Sean Mondo had an interception, and then Khalil Conley had 1. So our starting running back, Pat Quincy, has a partial ACL tear. He's out for 3 weeks. Our defensive tackle is still out for 7 weeks with that compound foot fracture we saw earlier. And then the freshman middle linebacker, Sean Mondo, torn labrum, out for 3 weeks. We just picked up our 9th win of the season against Nebraska in a close 31-27. victory. Nebraska's 5-6. We are ranked number 1 in the country. We're 9-2 on the year. Our last game of the season is against number 5 Wisconsin, who is also 9-2 on the year. So that game is huge. Look at the Nebraska game stats real quick. Maribel had a 180 rating, 270 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 58% completion. The redshirt freshman running back had a decent, actually a really good game. 11 carries, 92 yards, 2 touchdowns, had 7 broken tackles on 11 carries. Nice. Receiving, McWilliams had 3 for 131 with 2 touchdowns. Dude went crazy. I don't see Nasser-Rildeen. Don't tell me he got injured again. He just had 0 catches for whatever reason. Elliott had the most tackles with 8 sacks. Hopper had 1, and Wannery had 1, and then Howard and Bequette both had half a sack and no interceptions. Bad news, we lost to Wisconsin in a very close game by 3 points, 27-24. That makes Wisconsin the number 1 ranked team, and it drops us down to number 3. Still not a terrible season. We went 9-3, ranked in the top 5. Say that's a pretty good season overall. Maribel had a 170 rating, 220 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 3 sacks with 82% completion. Laumea had 15 for 55. Maribel actually had 2 rushing touchdowns. Lanier had 7 for 88 with a touchdown, the only receiving touchdown we had in the whole game. Elliott with the most tackles with 6. Bigger's actually getting some playing time now since our other true freshman middle linebacker got injured. Elliott had 1 sack, no interceptions. Since we lost to Wisconsin, we're not playing in the Big Ten championship this year. This doesn't make any sense. Wisconsin is ranked number 1 in the country, and they have a 7-2 conference record, just like Oregon and Michigan State. But they're picking Michigan State and Oregon to play in the Big Ten championship. The year is 2027. The Heisman winner is Clemson freshman wide receiver Aiden Shelley. 81 catches, 1,300 yards, 21 touchdowns. Has a freshman wide receiver ever won the Heisman Trophy? Our center actually won the 2027 Best Center Award with 12 games started and 12 games played. Those are some crazy stats, bro. We will be in the college football playoffs for the 2nd season in a row, playing against number 6 ranked Georgia Bulldogs. It's early national signing day, and we have the 4th ranked recruiting class in the country with 21 total players. 4 5-stars, 8 4-stars, and 9 3-stars. Almost all of the 3-stars are gems though. Georgia is a better team than us. Overall, they are 91 with 91 offense and 91 defense. We're 87 overall with 89 offense and 87 defense. It looks like we beat Georgia. College football playoff game winner. Congratulations, you have won a college football playoff game. Our next opponent in the playoffs is number 9 Ohio Bobcats in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Look at the score of this Georgia game, 24-23. We barely won by 1 freaking point. Maribel had a 150 rating, 220 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked twice. 72% completion is actually really good. We actually got Pat Quincy back at running back, 16 carries for 64 yards with a tutty. Receiving, Nasser-Rildeen had 6 for 88, no touchdowns. Lanier had 1 touchdown, and TJ McWilliams had a touchdown receiving. Defensively, Trinidad and Biggers both had 6 tackles. Sacks, Williams and Wannery had 2 interceptions. Khalil Conley had 1. The Ohio Bobcats ranked number 9. They are 85 overall with 86 offense, 85 defense. We are rated higher than them, but that doesn't mean that we'll win. Hopefully we can win. We did beat Ohio in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl quarterfinal playoff game winner. We will be taking on the number 8 ranked Miami Hurricanes in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl for the next round of the playoffs. The game against Ohio was still pretty close, but at least it wasn't 1 point. We won 37-31, 6-point victory. Maribel had a 200 rating, 230 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, got sacked 2 times, 73% completion. Quincy had a decent game, 19 carries, 72 yards, only 3.8 per carry, but he did have 1 rushing touchdown. Receiving, Lanier had 5 for 87 with a touchdown. The freshman tight end had 7 for 74 with 2 tutties. Nasser-Rildeen had 3 for 52 with 1 touchdown. Defensively, Alex Elliott had the most tackles with 10 sacks. We got Mondo back finally, and he had 1 sack. the true freshman middle linebacker, and then Dwayne Biggers, the junior middle linebacker, had the only interception of the game. Miami is rated pretty much identical to us, 87 overall with 87 offense and 87 defense. How are they 87 overall with 87 offense and 87 defense, and we're 87 overall but our offense is 89? We should be 88, I guess, 87 and a half something. We do beat Miami in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl, 3 playoff wins in a row, baby. Look at that. We're going to be playing against number 24 Oregon Ducks in the national freaking championship. The Miami game was 45-35, so we won by 10 points. Maribel had a 179 rating, 290 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 interception, 68% completion. Quincy with over 100 yards and 1 touchdown. Maribel had a rushing touchdown. Robles had 7 catches for 99 yards with 3 touchdowns. Damn. Nasser-Rildeen 5 for 53. Lanier had 5 for 74. Defensively, Chad Bequette had 7 tackles, the cornerback. Nobody had any sacks, but we do get 2 interceptions. Zaquan Bryan had 1. Austin Alexander had 1. This is pretty interesting that we're playing against Oregon because both of these teams, Minnesota and Oregon, are in the Big Ten. So does that mean that we are making the Big Ten into the new SEC, playing in the national championship? Overall, Oregon is 90 with 89 offense and 91 defense, so they are slightly better than us. First time ever playing in a national championship in one of these rebuilds. So I'm gonna jump into the game. I'm gonna do Super Sim though. I'm not gonna play at all. I just want to see what happens whenever we win or if we lose, I guess. First quarter we're down 7-0. Second quarter we're down 10-0. We're not out to a good start. We finally scored 3 points. It's 10-3. Halftime 10-3. In the third quarter we're losing 17-3. It's not looking good at all for us. We come back 17-10 and we lost. Oregon defeats us in the national championship. I'm gonna let this play out and see what happens. Look at our guys all sad, man. There's Maribel, the quarterback. It'll be interesting to see if Maribel comes back or if he tries to go to the draft. Because we're gonna play one more season now since we didn't win a championship. See if we can't get us a championship in Minnesota, man. Final score on the national championship loss to Oregon was 17-10. Low scoring game. Maribel had a 144 rating, 179 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, got sacked once, 65% completion, no running game basically at all. Nasser-Rildeen had 5 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, the freshman middle linebacker Sean Mondo had 6 tackles, leading the team. We had no sacks and no interceptions. Before I completely forget, I'm going to show the season stats. Maribel had his best season yet. 4,000 yards passing, 42 touchdowns, only 11 interceptions, 68% completion with a 177 rating. He's only 87 overall as a junior, so I don't think that he'll go to the draft. I think he'll be back for his senior year. Rushing, Pat Quincy in his first year as the starter, 181 carries, 2 yards short of 1,000 yards, and he missed like 4 games. Could have played 16. He only played 12. So he missed 4 games. Almost at 1,000 yards, 5.5 per carry with 8 touchdowns. Still pretty good production from him. He did fumble the ball 5 damn times though. Maribel had almost 500 yards rushing with 4 touchdowns. And then the redshirt freshman Laumea had 370 yards with 5 touchdowns. Receiving, Lanier had 871 yards with 10 touchdowns. Redshirt senior, he's going to be gone. Nasser-Rildeen, the sophomore Carl Nasser-Rildeen, missed 2 games with injury. He still had 800 yards, second best on the team with 9 touchdowns. And then let's see our freshman tight end Shaquille Heslop, 52 catches, 638 yards with 6 touchdowns. That's pretty good numbers for a freshman tight end. Defensively, Alex Elliott had the most tackles with 106. The freshman Sean Mondo had 91, second most on the team. Tackles for loss, Jackson Howard, the redshirt senior graduate, 88 overall, had 12, and Wannery had 11. Both these guys are going to be gone. Sacks, and Wannery had 7. Diorin Randall came in because our freshman defensive tackle got injured. Dude put up 7 sacks, so maybe we should have been playing him more. He's a redshirt senior, only 80 overall. He's going to be graduating. Jackson Howard had 5 sacks. Interceptions, Khalil Conley had 4. Daquan Bryant came back. He could have went to the draft. He said he wanted to try to win a championship. Got 2 interceptions. And then we have a bunch of guys with 1 interception. Mondo, Elliott, Bequette, Workman, Trinidad, Biggers, and Austin Alexander. Wide receiver Kerry Robles actually had a kick return, a punt return for a touchdown, 80 yards. The only first team All-American that we had was David Enriquez, our kicker. We only have 1 player that's leaving to go to the draft, and it was our center, Nathan Roy, that won the Best Center of the Year award. 91 overall, had an extremely low chance of persuading them. I tried, but I was not successful. We don't have anyone else trying to transfer out. But we do lose the legend himself, Zaquan Bryant, at cornerback. He's projected to go to the 3rd round. Jerome Williams, right guard, projected to go in the 7th round. And Nwaneri, the defensive end, projected to go in the 5th round. Everyone else, there were still some really good players here, but they are not projected to get drafted. Dylan Whitkey, probably like the worst 87 overall quarterback that I've ever seen in the history of college football, because every time he came in, he played terrible. We had 5 players get drafted. That center, Nathan Roy, went in the 1st round, so I don't blame him for leaving. Daquan Bryant went in the 2nd round. He was projected to go 3rd. Jerome Williams went in the 4th round, and Nwaneri went in the 4th round, and Jackson Howard wasn't projected to get drafted, got scooped up in the 7th. We actually have the most amount of interest from 4-star and 3-star transfers that we've had so far, which makes sense since we just made it to the championship. It looks like half of these players are from Wisconsin and Michigan. So I'm going to go through here and try to scout these guys and see which one's worth getting. It's National Signing Day. We finished with the 2nd best recruiting class in the country. 34 total players, 4 5-stars, 14 4-stars, and 16 3-stars. Oregon won the national championship and they got the number 4 ranked class. Time to look at dev traits for the players that we got. We got elite for this 4-star defensive end, another elite athlete power rusher, star dev for this defensive tackle, that's a 3-star, star dev for this power rushing defensive end, elite for this speed rushing defensive end. I got a crap load of defensive ends here. Elite for this tight end, that's a 5-star blocking tight end. Elite for this 3-star running back, that's a gem. We got a ton of elite guys. We got a star run stopping linebacker, that's a 3-star gem. Any more stars or elites here? We're about to get down to the transfers. Oh, here's a star. 3-star wide receiver, that's a star. He's a deep threat, but he's 6'3", 93 speed. We got star dev for this strong safety, who's a transfer junior. He's a 4-star. There's another transfer guy. He was a sophomore, 4-star. He's only got impact. Normal dev for this guy, impact for this guy. Star dev for this 4-star transfer freshman center. Definitely need a center because ours went to the draft and got drafted in the 1st round. This right here is a good example of the difference between dev traits. Dwayne Biggers is a senior. He's been playing for 4 years already. He's only at 81 overall. Look in here, he has normal dev trait. All of his caps, like he's capped out on all of his different things that he could have here on his ratings. Maxed out at 81 as a senior. Now this sophomore, Sean Mondo, he's already up to an 87 overall as a sophomore, so he's already 6 bigger and better than Biggers. But that's because he has elite dev trait, as you can see, and he still has a ton of room to develop. There's a lot to go. He has 1 on IQ, a lot on pass rush, power, run stopping, pass coverage still has 2. He is maxed out on his quickness, but the dude has 89 speed at 6 foot, 224 pounds. He's a field general middle linebacker. I'm going through looking at the training results, and this left outside linebacker, Josh Kiki, he redshirted for us last year, but he's already up to a 90 overall as a freshman redshirt. This is crazy. He does have elite dev trait as expected, and look, he still has a ton of development that he can do. By the end of his career, the dude's gonna be rated 125 out of 100. This is the starting lineup for the 5th and final season of the rebuild. Maribel has developed to the highest potential that it possibly can. Technically 87, but he's got some boosts up to 89 overall. At running back, Pat Quincy, the senior, 90 overall. At wide receiver, Nasser Rildeen is the highest overall, 92 as a junior, and then Robles is an 84, and then we really don't have much going on behind them. Bunch of freshmen. At tight end, Heslop is already up to an 85, and then Lovett's at 85. Simpson's 83, so we have good tight end depth. This is definitely the best offensive lineman that we've had besides the center. But at left tackle, we have a 90. Left guard, 88. At center is only at 82 because our center got drafted. Right guard's 88, and right tackle is 86. Defensive end, Sturm is 88, and then Hopper is 86. At D tackle, Kearns is 83. Gillikin's 81. Masafilo is at 80. I don't care if they're, juniors, seniors, freshmen, whoever the highest rated player is starting since it's the last game or last rebuild year. Josh Kiki, the freak freshman, 90 overall. Dude is 6'1", 251 pounds as a run stopper with 85 speed. I would be scared as hell playing against him on the field. Middle linebacker, Sean Mondo, 87 overall. Outside linebacker, Sean Bosch, 85 overall. At corner, we got Chad Bequette. He's been here for a while now. It's his 4th year as a senior. 89 overall. He has 99 speed. Conley's 87. Alexander's 83. At free safety, Vaughn Trinidad is an 88 overall with 95 speed as a sophomore. And at strong safety, we have Brian Trapazzo, 85 overall with 87 speed. Since it is the last year of the rebuild, I will not be doing any recruiting at all. As you can see, we are ranked number 1 before the season starts, and we are 90 overall across the board, the best that the team has been for sure. And we're actually 4.5 star school. I don't know what star we were when we started. I forgot. Maybe 3 star, 4 star. I'm not sure. Right out the gate, we got to play against number 12 Kansas State. Then we got Bowling Green, California, number 2 Oregon in a national championship rematch. We coming for your ass. Nebraska, UCLA, Rutgers, number 19 Michigan State, Iowa, Maryland, number 6 Ohio State, and then number 3 Wisconsin to end the season. We beat Washington State to get our first win of the season. Josh Hopper, the defensive end, wins Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week with 2 sacks, 8 tackles, and 3 tackles for loss. Man, our defense is nasty. The Kansas State score was 31-17 with us getting the victory, of course. Maribel had a 146 rating, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions with a 54% completion. And he also had 12 carries for 94 yards with a touchdown. Quincy had 68 yards with a touchdown. Nasser Rildeen had 2 catches for 48 yards. Heslop, the tight end, had a touchdown. And then Randy LeBourne, a redshirt freshman from Hawaii, Pearl City, Hawaii, had the other receiving touchdown. Defensively, Josh Hopper had the most tackles, and then the redshirt freshman Josh Kiki, the freak, had 8 tackles. Mondo had 8 sacks. Hopper had 2. We saw that. Kearns had 1.5, and then Sturm had half a sack. Chad Bequette had 1 interception. We're 3 games into the season. We got 3 wins in a row, starting off the season great. We were ranked number 1. We got a big national championship rematch coming up against Oregon. They're number 7. They already have 1 loss on the year. Hopefully we can give them 2. Oregon just has our number for some reason. We lose to them 34-26. They jump up to number 4 in the country, and we are number 7. Look at the stats on this game. Maribel had a 100 rating. Man, that's terrible. 200 yards, pass, and 1 touchdown. He threw 2 interceptions, got sacked 3 times, 55% completion. He did have a lot of rushing yards though, 7 for 86 with a touchdown. Quincy had 19 carries for only 50 yards, 1 touchdown. Receiving, Nasser Rildeen had 8 for 97 with a touchdown. Defensively, Trinidad had the most tackles with 5 sacks. Tremaine had 1, and Marcus Sturm had 1. No interceptions. 2 games later, we are ranked number 19. We beat Nebraska, but we lose to UCLA 23-20. Dropping us to 4-2 on the season, and we're down to number 19. Man, maybe this year just ain't our year. Maribel, a 150 rating, 200 yards, 1 touchdown. Rushing, Quincy only had 50 yards with a touchdown. Nasser Rildeen still doing his thing, 5 for 100 with a tutty. Defensively, Bequette, the cornerback, had 11 tackles. Sacks, Hopper had 1, and Tremaine had 1. No interceptions. Once again, things are not looking great. We did win against Rutgers, but we lost to Michigan State, who are 4-4 on the year. So before they were 3-4. We lost 27-24. That puts us at 5-3, and we're not even ranked in the top 25. So I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but if we don't start winning 4 games in a row here, then the season's over. The very next game, we bounced back with the win, and Carl Nassar went crazy. The best game of his career, Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week, 7 catches, 193 yards with 4 touchdowns. That is good enough for National Offensive Player of the Week, as I would expect. But we beat Iowa pretty good, and we beat Maryland pretty good, but then we lost to Ohio State 42-18, got blown out. That puts us not even in the top 25 anymore. Once again, we were ranked number 19 before the Ohio State game. We did manage to beat Wisconsin in the last game of the regular season, 48-24. That puts us at 8-4 on the season, ranked number 25 in the country. Is that good enough for a playoff spot? I highly doubt it, but weirder things have happened in this game, so we'll see. Maribel actually had a pretty good game, 200 rating, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 81% completion. Rushing, Quincy had 63 yards with a touchdown. Receiving, Nassar had 6 for 84, and the running back Pat Quincy had 5 for 70 with a touchdown. Kerry Robles had 2 touchdown catches. Defensively, Bequette had 7 tackles. Silva had 1 sack, and Austin Alexander had 1 interception. Doesn't appear that we made it to the playoffs, but we had a bowl game against number 22 Arkansas. We're ranked number 23. It's going to be the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl. Just double check the 2028 college football playoff bracket, and we for sure did not make it. Every single team that is in the playoffs won at least 9 games. We did end up winning the bowl game against Arkansas 35-27, putting us at 9-4 for the season. Definitely a disappointing season, but 9-4 with a bowl win is pretty good in real life, I guess. Jamil Maribel, 173 rating, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 68% completion, and the last game of his career. Nassar Rilding, the receiver, had 1 carry for 63 yards and a touchdown. Maribel actually had 40 yards rushing with another rushing touchdown. He did fumble the ball once though. McFarland came in because Quincy got injured. Go figure. Receiving, Robles had 6 for 86. LeBourne had 4 for 81 with the touchdown. Tight end Heslop had 43 yards with a touchdown. Carl Nassar had 3 for 38. Defensively, Mondo had 9 tackles leading the team. Thurm had a sack, and Tremaine had a sack. Vaughn Trinidad at free safety had 1 interception. With the season being over officially, time to look at the stats. Jamil Maribel in the last year of his career, 3,400 yards passing, 31 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 67% completion with the 174 rating. It's actually really good. I'm gonna go look at his entire career because he was a starter for us for the last 4 years in a row. He definitely got better as each season went on. Last season was his best season for sure, but we also played 3 more games, I think. Is there a way to look at how many games played? I guess not. It's not on here. But he still had a pretty comparable season. 177 rating last year, 174 this year. Least interceptions that he threw with 5. Rushing, his second year he went crazy with the running, 700 yards, but he still had 5 rushing touchdowns this year, averaging 4.6 per carry, which is the most that he had. Pat Quincy, his senior year at running back, 891 yards, so he yet again did not reach 1,000 yards rushing in one season. He did have 11 touchdowns though. He's a 90 overall, so I would expect him to get drafted and Maribel to get drafted. Receiving, Carl Nassar had 61 catches, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. Go look at his stats for 3 seasons. This dude's definitely going to get drafted too. His freshman year, he went crazy. 77 catches for 1,100 yards, 5 touchdowns. The last season, he did get injured, but he still had 800 yards with 9 touchdowns. And then this year, definitely his best year. 61 catches, 1,100 yards, 18 yards per catch with 11 touchdowns. Defensively, Sean Mondo had the most tackles with 69, and then the freak freshman Josh Kiki had 68, second best on the team. Marcus Sturm, the defensive end, had 8 tackles for loss, led the team. Sacks, Tremaine, the freshman defensive end, had 8.5 sacks. Man, this dude is gonna be a beast. Hopper had 7.5, Sturm had 5.5, and Kiki had 3. Interceptions, Von Trinidad, the free safety, had 5 as a sophomore. That's awesome. Chad Bequette had 4 in his senior year. Austin Alexander had 3, and Khalil Conley had 2. We had 2 first-team national All-Americans, free safety Von Trinidad, and then our kicker David Enriquez once again. Wide receiver Carl Nassar-Rildeen is the only second-team national All-American. Looking at the 2028 college football playoff bracket, Virginia Tech beats Tulsa to become the national champs. The best thing about this is that Oregon did make it to the playoffs, but they lost to Georgia, so they could not repeat. We have 5 players projected to get drafted. Carl Nassar-Rildeen, the wide receiver, is projected to go in the first round. I'm not going to try to persuade any of these guys because this is it. The free safety Von Trinidad won first team All-American. He's projected to go in the second round as a redshirt sophomore, so he's technically a junior. Chad Bequette, the cornerback, projected to go in the 3rd round. Quarterback Jamil Maribel is projected to go in the 5th round. And then running back Pat Quincy is projected to go in the 5th round as well. Other players that are graduating that are not projected to get drafted, the kicker David Enriquez, he was first team All-American 2 years in a row. So I wouldn't be surprised if he got picked up on a team in real life if that happened. Maybe even drafted in like the 6th or 7th round. Josh Hopper at defensive end. Khalil Conley, he was a transfer. Him and Austin Alexander both transferred over like 2 seasons ago. Rapazzo at strong safety, I think it was a transfer also. But I don't think that anybody maybe below 87 will even have a chance to get drafted. We had 5 players get drafted. Carl Nassar-Rildeen, the wide receiver, goes in the 1st round. Free safety Von Trinidad goes in the 2nd round. Chad Bequette goes in the 2nd round. Quarterback Jamil Maribel goes in the 5th round, and running back Pat Quincy goes in the 5th round. Crazy that Pat Quincy got drafted as a running back in the NFL, because whenever we recruited him, he was an athlete, scrambling quarterback. And I was like, well, we need help at running back. We got plenty of quarterbacks. So I moved him there, and he was actually really productive and was a big impact on the team. In 2023, the Minnesota Golden Gophers went 6-7. We took over in 2024, and we got 5 years here. Our first season was the worst by far, going 5-7. 2025, we won 9 games, and then we didn't win less than 9 games for the rest of the contract. 2026, we went 12-3, made it to the Big Ten championship and won it. We also won 1 playoff game. And then in 2027 was our best year. We won 2 playoff games, and then we lost in the national championship. 2028, I was hoping it was going to be the final push to get over the edge and win the championship, but we only went 9-4, made it to a bowl game, but we did win that. I think that this rebuild is a win for sure. What do you think about the video? Let me know in the comments down below. What other teams do you want to see me rebuild? I'll pick one comment and feature it in the next video. I appreciate y'all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.